10. We just saw in the standings, one game out of that top spot for first-year head coach at VCU, Phil Martelli Jr., and what a job he has done to this point.
At Bryant, he was one of the fastest teams in all of college basketball. They're playing the exact same way.
On the other side of it, Mike Magpayo. 6 years as a head coach in college basketball, his first at Fordham, and he's an interesting talk. We had a lot of time with him this morning, and he'll kind of tell you how it is.
Well, and he's also really proud of his team. Remember, last preseason in the polls, they started 1-6, and now the fact that they've won 4 straight, his players are gelling, and you can see the confidence.
Ron Tyberski, Nick Terry, Joe Switzer, the officials in charge. And Tim, this is a game, 2 very contrasting styles.
A battle of tempo. VCU wants 80s. Fordham needs a half-court game in the 60s.
VCU with the opening tip, ready to go. Homecoming here at VCU. The Siegel Center sold out once again. Jennings drives, kicks it up top. Djokovic thought about 3, shot clock at 10. Evans wide open, long range, back iron too strong. Jennings with the second opportunity up top to Tracey. Won't go, rebounded by Fordham.
Fordham is going to play both man and zone, and Coach Magpayo will make adjustments just based on what's working the best.
Christian Henry's got it up top, the 6'3 senior, the quarterback of this Fordham Ram team. Gets it down low. Wonderful entry pass to Bodija, but that was swatted away by Aarons, and block shots a big concern for Mike Magpayo. They had 8 shots blocked the last time these two teams played. This is the 18th meeting, dominated by VCU, including 10 in a row and a victory earlier this month.
Yeah, this is a very typical Fordham possession. They're going to work the shot clock, but they only have 3 seconds left.
Reeves, long range, in and out, won't go. Rebounded by Nick Lewis.
Offensively, a lot to like for VCU. I love the spacing. Also, they have 5 offensive players that can all drive and get to the rim.
Evans loses it, but they say last touch Fordham. VCU will maintain possession, 17 on the shot clock.
You just have to be impressed with the balance for VCU. 9 different Rams for VCU have led the team in scoring this year. I'm not sure who you focus on because they always have 5 weapons on the court.
And maybe their best weapon, Terrence Hill Jr., comes off the bench. Lewis has it up top, shot clock at 9, looks to drive, gets it in the corner for a well off the arc 3 by Jadrian Tracey, so the Fordham defense making a statement in the early going.
And the number 1 skill for Fordham is on the defensive glass. They don't make many free throws. Their 3-point shooting is horrendous, but they do a great job on the glass.
Reeves loses it, VCU with it, looking to run. Fordham gets back defensively, slows things down. Down low to Djokovic, lays it up, in and out, won't go. Rebounded by Akira Jacobs. Scoreless, 2 minutes in. Jacobs off the mark from long range. Barry Evans with the rebound. He's not afraid to push it. 3-ball corner pocket, not to be. We're still looking for a first bucket. Lewis unable to make that one.
And Mike Magpayo will continue to play man-to-man defense until something changes and VCU makes a shot. Got to say that the tempo definitely favors Fordham.
It was something Magpayo told us. We want to be able to hang around as long as we can as that long-range jumper doesn't go. Both teams still scoreless. 0 for 5 for the Rams, 0 for 4 for Fordham. The 10th, the charm, though, for Brandon Jennings, connecting from long range. We've got our whistle down low. Schultz fouled down in the paint. It was a matter of time, right? Somebody was going to score. We didn't think it was going to take nearly 3 minutes.
Well, Brandon Jennings is such a good support guy. Local hero from Richmond. He never left. And when you think about the difference between these two teams, VCU has a lot of good 3-point shooters. Fordham has to be able to get the ball inside. Remember, the Fordham offense is basically called the Day Reeves show.
That foul on Djokovic, his first. He heads to the bench. Michael Bell checks in. Fordham still scoreless over 3 minutes in. Long range three, no good. The Rams still looking to get on the board. Lewis quickly in the front court for VCU. Gets it to Jennings. And they'll set it up, at least momentarily. Tracey thought about the three, drives and fouled on the way through the lane. He'll head to the line to shoot two.
I love the decision of passing up the three. Fordham has a lot of good things they do on defense, but blocking shots is not one of them. As a matter of fact, they are really struggling protecting the rim. They've got really good size, but I want you to watch passing it up the decision. Go inside because there is no resistance at the rim. Look, right now, Mike Magpie would say, yeah, we struggle from three, but I would take a three-point shooting contest versus VCU because if you let them get to the rim, they're going to do a lot of damage.
Personal foul was on Christian Henry, his first, sending Jadrian Tracey to the line to shoot two. Nearly 72% from the stripe for the redshirt senior from Fort Myers, Florida, who spent 2 years in the A-10 at St. Joe's, then went out west to Oregon for a couple of years. Now back in this part of the country.
You know who would love to have him on the team is Dana Altman at Oregon. They could have really used him this year. Steve, I've got a massively important question to ask you when it comes to this Fordham team. We know that VCU is going to bring the heat on defense. Does Fordham look composed? Are they keeping their turnovers low? Are they getting good shots? When these teams played in the Bronx, it was a 4-point game, and it was also low scoring, which really helped Fordham a great deal.
Fordham only had 9 turnovers in that first game, but they had 8 shots blocked. And Mike Magpie told us that's like a turnover. You can't give VCU the opportunity to run. Tracey connected on 1 of 2 from the line. VCU 4-0 lead. We're nearly 4 minutes in, and Fordham has yet to score until right there. Rora Kaur, the 6'7" freshman from Australia who just entered the game, finally puts Fordham on that scoring ledger. A lot of contact, no call. Tracey off the glass, and it goes.
Two hottest teams in the A-10. Dayton's won 5 straight. Fordham has won 4 straight. I never would have thought that when I saw the start of this A-10 tournament, or this A-10 season, that Fordham would be a factor.
Schultz up, has it stolen, trying to get it down low in the blocks to Jacobs, and they're going to say last touch off of Akira Jacobs. The ball back over to VCU.
Phil Martelli knows that he's fallen into a great position. Yeah, he's worked exceptionally hard to get here, but when you look at the history, their brand is about aggressive defense and player development. Think about Anthony Grant and Shaka Smart, Will Wade, Mike Rose. They always have really good coaches, and Phil Martelli is next in that line.
And as Phil shared with us earlier this week, what he learned quickly here at VCU, the fan base, the support. They're passionate, they're knowledgeable, and they love to cheer on the VCU Rams.
This place has no empty seats, and at a 12:30 tip, that's a pretty impressive thing. First time we've seen zone defense from Fordham.
Jennings drives, pull up lefty, front iron, no good. Loose ball comes down to Fordham, off to Day Reeves. He'll go, he'll lay it up, and in, and he's fouled on the way up.
Was that Day Reeves? I just saw a blur go across the court. My gosh, his speed is phenomenal. And you know, when I watch him play, I'm not saying he's the same player, but he reminds me in his approach of Kyrie Irving. He uses both hands exceptionally well. His ball handling, world class. He loves big moments, and you just can't catch him up in being too fast. I'm so impressed with Day Reeves.
He's played in 27 games this season, has missed 1 injury, double figures every single game. Foul was on Terrence Hill Jr., who just entered for VCU. The three-point play good. 6-5, VCU with the 1-point lead.
Deep defensive playbook for Fordham.
Near steal, VCU hangs on to it. Long-range three by Hill, doesn't go. Jennings with the rebound, and he lays it up and in. Nice pass down to Tracey. 8-5, VCU by 3.
Good idea to try to go to Hill. If you get that second foul on him, your job gets a lot easier.
Schulte missing the short one. VCU with the rebound. Hill loses it, picked up by Schulte. Fordham forcing the turnover, hits Jacobs. He is fouled on the way. You saw the patience by Fordham, but they had a quick opening.
For VCU, their #1 superpower, no deception. They're top 5 in blocks, top 5 in steals, but on the offensive end, getting a chance to hit the offensive glass is a real strength. They got 5 guys on the court right now that can all go and keep the ball alive on the glass. And there's just a tremendous player talking about Lazar Djokovic, or as Mike Magpio said, number 17.
Yeah, number 17 and 6. He referenced those numbers quite a bit. Djokovic back in the game. The personal foul was on Jennings, his first. Henry pull up right wing, well off the mark, nothing but air. Rebounded by VCU. They look to run. Tyrell Ward into the game and into the front court.
I think that's funny when coaches don't know the player's name because they learn about them as watching film, and he knows him as 17 or 6.
Ward too strong off the glass. Henry with the loose ball. Day, he'll launch it. In and out, wouldn't go. Pass from Hill to Ward, who's fouled on the way up.
Terrell Ward has done a really nice job of coming back. Remember, earlier this year, he really struggled a great deal. He went home for Christmas and came back and has been one of their most improved players. It's a great idea. Attack before the defense gets set up, and also understand that this defense does not block many shots.
Ward to the line to shoot 2. The foul was on Rora Core, his first. And you think about Tyrell Ward, started at LSU, had a knee injury, and as Phil Martelli Jr. said, he didn't just miss a year, he basically missed 20 months when you look at the calendar. 1 of 2 for Ward. VCU 9-5 lead, 13:25 remaining in the first half.
The press full court for VCU is really unique. In the past, like you'd see Will Wade or Shaka Smart trying to generate turnovers. VCU's got so much depth. They're just trying to wear down Fordham.
Reeves trying to break down Djokovic on the mismatch there. Henry kicks it up top. Bodija, shot clock at 3. Really nice move. Front iron doesn't go. Neither does the putback, but a third chance opportunity. Reeves in and out. Won't go. How about a fourth chance? To Louis Lesmond just in the game. The high archer well off the mark. 4 good chances. Fordham goes 0 for 4. It's going to be a foul on Accor. His second.
Everybody on this Fordham squad helps out on the glass, Steve. It really is the most important part of the game. Remember, they don't make many free throws. They're last in the A-10. Their three-point shooting is the worst. So the way they survive in games is rebounding and being able to keep low turnovers. Here's their man-to-man defense.
Accor to the bench with those 2 fouls. Marcus Green into the game, the grad student from Gilroy, California. Hill, nice pass to Djokovic. Off the mark there, a lot of contact, no whistle. They're going to say last touch off of Fordham. VCU will hang on to possession with 6 on the shot clock.
When we talked to Coach Magpio about his defense, they really encouraged the A-10 logo area of open shots. And he said that he really took that a lot from Jim Boeheim at Syracuse. The ability to force mid-range shots is an analytical coach's dream.
Shot clock at 3. Hill needs to do something, as he usually does. There is a whistle, and they're going to call a blocking foul on Fordham. Looked like it could have been one of those either ways, and it appears to be going on Christian Henry. If so, his second personal.
And if Christian Henry has to sit, that causes major problems. In his last 4 games, he's averaging 14 points, 5 boards, 5 assists. He's their number 2 playmaker. And look, this is as simple as I can put it. If VCU can slow Day Reeves, this Fordham team doesn't have enough other scorers to beat you.
Terrence Hill Jr., if he played 40 minutes a game, he'd be the 3rd best scorer in the country. He's only made a couple of starts. That was because of injury, and that was a graphic of players that have started 2 times or less during the course of the season. He is that engine when he comes off the bench 2, 3, 4 minutes in that sets the tone.
And he's going to be really aggressive. Remember, against St. Louis, he was 1 for 11 from the field. He's going to want to have that bounce-back game.
Henry doesn't get it to go. VCU at the rebound. Evans nearly loses the corner to Djokovic. 3-pointer. In and out. Doesn't go. Evans out fighting for the offensive rebound. Pulls it down for VCU. They're not afraid to shoot. 3-ball, corner pocket. Nick Lewis converts. 13-5 VCU. Up 8, and Fordham's 0 for their last 8 from the field, just in the last 3 minutes and change. If it's not Reeves, who else does Fordham need to get involved?
Well, they've got 4 guys that are okay, but nobody that you can count on. They've got to rely on their system rather than one-on-one play.
Didn't go for Reeves. Evans gets it to go in his foul. VCU with a 10-point lead over Fordham, 15-5, courtesy of a 9-0 run. And Tim, during the break, you snuck over to the VCU Ram huddle. What is Phil Martelli Jr. telling his team?
Steve, highly productive. One talking point at both ends of the court. On offense, Coach Martelli said, drive to the basket. There's going to be no resistance from a shot blocking standpoint. And on defense, our transition defense has to do a better job of closing out quicker to the corners. I thought it was a really good timeout.
And you talk about the offensive struggles for Fordham to this point. 2 of 16 from the field, shooting just 12.5% from the floor.
Their offense has to work like an old school 1980s NBA offense. Side to side, post entry, get a post touch. If they're going to win this game or even stay in it, they're going to have to win the points in the paint battle. And so far, I think it's been VCU that's dominant in that area.
Evans to the line for 1. The foul before the break was on Marcus Green, his first. And Evans doesn't get it to go, rebounded by Akira Jacobs. Get a sense that, and it's not a surprise, VCU centrally focused on slowing down the man with the ball right now.
And he's getting star coverage, man-and-a-half coverage at all times. If he gets by his guy, there's somebody waiting.
And we are speaking of Day Reeves, who's got the ball in his hands. Double team, shot clock at 7. Stolen the intended pass to Lesmond, quickly in the front court. Look at Day Reeves come out of nowhere. Thought Jennings was going to get it and have an easy one.
I knew that Day Reeves was very fast on offense. Watch this hustle. This is a dunk, right? It's a breakaway. There's nobody around. That's exactly what he was thinking. I don't think that Brandon Jennings thought anybody was near him, and it allows them to set up their zone defense.
VCU back with it. Entry pass to Jennings up top. Long range 3 is good by Nick Lewis. Feels like a really critical juncture now. 18-5, a 12-0 run for VCU. Green, long range 3, got it. A much needed hoop by Marcus Green. Nick Lewis again. Why not? Shoot or shoot, don't they?
What a great situation for Nick Lewis as a freshman, and I think he's got a chance to be Rookie of the Year in the A-10. He won Rookie of the Week 4 different times, but he is so mentored by all these veteran players.
Schulte was surprised he was that wide open, misses the short one, almost pulls down the offensive rebound, but VCU comes away with it. Out of the reach, Lewis to Djokovic, but a whistle. Perhaps a little bit of contact. That's why Lazar didn't come down with that one.
You know, Steve, last summer, I remember I was on a picnic, and there were bugs, and there were flies and bees, and they're just swarming. That's what it's like playing against VCU. It seems like they've got an extra defender. Their arms are active. They're moving their feet. Really a good start for VCU's defense. And they had some time off after their last game. Sometimes at this point in the season, you can really benefit from getting away for a day or two and getting those fresh legs.
The foul was on Marcus Green. His second personal. Team has 6. Fordham right now has 3 different players with 2 personal fouls on a team that doesn't go very deep on the bench. Evans looking to drive, a lot of contact, soft off the glass, doesn't go. McCord back into the game for Fordham with a big-time rebound.
Wow, that was the best defensive sequence by Fordham. They moved their feet, contain, contest, and rebound the ball.
Reeves swatted away, 2 VCU Rams in the way. And they pick up the loose ball quickly into the front court. Really good hustle by Schulte, who steals it, sends it to Reeves. There's 3 VCU Rams, and how about Day Reeves? He waited for them all to fly over him, makes it, and will head to the line for one more.
I think it's a lot of fun being Day Reeves because he has got the ability to be a dynamic playmaker. He can shoot when he wants. He passes the ball very well. What a good finish in transition by Day.
Michael Bell picking up his first personal foul, team's 5th. Six in the first half for Day Reeves. Fordham down 10.
It looks like Fordham is going to play man-to-man. I actually like them in a zone. It makes the game less athletic. I just don't think they can cover all of these athletes on the perimeter if they're in a zone.
But they force a turnover. Akor picks it up. They're going to slow it down once again. Reeves into the front court.
Pretty darn good matchup right there. Lewis against Reeves.
Tied up. Somehow Reeves hangs on to it. He had Schulte for a minute. What a tremendous save by Jennings as he goes out of bounds. And the alley-oop finish down the other end by Jadrian Tracey.
And that was a horrible offensive sequence during the last timeout. Mike Magpeo spent all of his time talking about closing out to the three-point line. The Rams from Fordham are going to be getting out there contesting. I think that VCU is going to have success getting into the paint. There's going to be nobody in the lane because they're so worried about the threes. Nick Lewis averages 7 points per game. He's already at 9.
Reeves in the corner to Akor. Fordham looking for a little more offensive input from someone other named Day Reeves, and almost got it from Akor. The long-range 3 in and out. It was halfway down.
Can they get to the rim? You can see right away that the defense is more split up.
Evans got it down low to Ward, and before he kicked it in the corner, a little bit of contact there on the baseline. That's going to be a foul on Akira Jacobs, his first. VCU now in the bonus, the 17th foul for Fordham.
In a way, this is a little bit similar to the first meeting when these teams played at the Bronx. VCU got off to a really quick start scoring the basketball. but then things slowed down. The problem is, in a 4-point game, Fordham only shot 35%. That's kind of the same thing that's happening in this game.
Keep this in mind. J.J. Reeves went to the bench. It's 23-11 VCU. I asked you earlier, who else can Fordham lean on from a scoring standpoint? We might find out here in the coming minutes. Louis Lesmond, long-range three, well off the mark, barely hitting the backboard. VCU with some numbers, at least for the moment. Tyrell Ward, 3-ball, front iron no good. Schulta with the rebound, averages 9 a game.
Yeah, Fordham tries to run a little bit, but you can tell their heart's not really into it. It's not what they do best. That's a push-off.
Yeah, that's going to be on Rikus Schulta as he was setting the screen for Christian Henry. Right in the center of the floor, Tim. You're not going to get away with that.
Yeah, watch the push-off there. You know, you've got to be a little bit more subtle than that to put your hands on somebody's chest and give them a good push. You know, both of these teams, Steve, are exceptional on the defensive end, but they do it in different ways. VCU is athletic and speedy, and Fordham uses their size.
Ahmad Noel into the game, had that one blocked, but able to maintain possession for VCU. They work it around the perimeter. Long-range three doesn't go for Evans.
Are you getting excited for the A-10 tournament?
I am, my friend. I can't wait to head to Pittsburgh.
Do you have a favorite as we watch VCU? They're going to be on a lot of people's lists.
Yeah, they're in the conversation, no doubt about it. A foul on the way up. It looks like Jacobs might have got a little elbow or hand to the face as well. Yeah. Well, I'm going to ask you. You're the guy that knows it better than anyone. Give me your teams that have a chance to leave Pittsburgh as the champion.
Well, there's clearly, and there's no question about this, you've got to look first at St. Louis and VCU. No question. Dayton knocked off St. Louis and sent a massive message to everybody that they are going to be a factor. If I'm trying to come up with a fourth, for a lot of the season, I thought George Mason would be there, but they've struggled mightily. I'm going to put Steve Donahue's St. Joe's team in there. So I think there's 4 teams that have distinguished themselves as being the favorites.
And remember, the top 4 get double buys, the top 8 the single buy. And if you get an extra day rest in Pittsburgh, could serve you well if you make it to the weekend. Foul was on Tyrell Ward, his first for VCU. Jacobs able to make both from the stripe. Fordham down 10, 23-13, 5:59 remaining here in the opening half of play.
Kind of dangerous to press this athletic and speedy VCU team. Once again, I like Fordham better in zone. It's a little bit easier to make it a less athletic game.
Ball on the floor, bodies follow. Fordham comes up with a good hustle by Schulta. VCU scoreless the last 2 minutes and change, an opportunity for the Fordham Rams now to try to get it to single digits. Just hang around, it's their MO. What a spin move by Henry. Front iron, couldn't finish. Rebounded by Noel, who loses it momentarily, almost right in our lap here, courtside. Nice pass from Hill to Djokovic up top. Noel, long range three. Nothing but net.
Yeah, as I watch VCU, I think back to Phil Martelli's dad, Phil Sr., when he was at St. Joe's. Really one of the innovators in the way NBA ball is today. Positionless offense. 5 guys that are on the perimeter that can all dribble, pass, and shoot.
Henry cut off in the paint, well off the mark, but fouled on the way up.
You know, the ability to share the ball. They have a roster of playmakers, and the mindset is more impressive than anything else because they're all willing to get somebody the ball. I see so many teams nowadays where players are so worried about NIL and transfer and social media is in their ear, and they don't make that pass with fluidity. I think that this VCU team shares the ball. exceptionally well.
Henry misses the first. Personal foul was on Jadrian Tracey of VCU, his first personal foul. And you talk about the whole NIL world. It's something Mike Magpaio, the Fordham coach, showed with us. He's embraced the brand. Love the name on the front of your jersey more than the name on your back.
I'd like to see Djokovic involved in the offense a little bit more. He's been a ball mover, but get him the ball. I think he's able to do some work in the paint.
Second chance doesn't go by Bell. Two really good looks by VCU. But they're stuck at 13, and we've played nearly 16 minutes.
Don't you think that Rika Schulte is somebody that could be more aggressive on the offensive end? They're really not getting him the ball in a position where he can do anything.
Whistle away from the ball. Going to be a foul on VCU. And you speak of Rika Schulte. He's second in the A-10 in rebounding. He's had 7 double-doubles this year. A guy that Mike Magpaio says does it all. He's disruptive. One needs to kind of get disruptive offensively. Jacobs going to go to the line. They're in the bonus are the Fordham Rams. That's going to be foul number 2 on Terrence Hill Jr.
Do you think there should be a rule where you can't have the same mascot name in the league? You just want, I can hear you. You want to say Rams.
I slipped up once early when I said the Rams by 10, the VCU Rams, that is. Keeps us on our toes. We love it.
Akira Jacobs is a fascinating player. 6'10", 230 with the ability to shoot.
Jacobs missed the free throw. Loose ball. Officials are going to confer to determine which team it touched last.
Yeah, VCU thinks that it's theirs. If you were to give a whistle and let Ahmad Noel make the call, he was very clear that it's their ball.
Well, Lazar Djokovic was down the other end, and he wasn't going to buy it. You know what? We're going to trust the men wearing stripes. Day Reeves back into the game. Schulte, there's the man you talked about, and there he is, connecting from long range.
Well, nobody's going to cover him at the three-point line, and at this point, Fordham is really struggling to get open looks. I think it's a great option.
Back within 10 are the Fordham Rams. Djokovic cut off in the lane, kicks it out on the right wing to Michael Bell, who uses the glass. A beautiful left-handed finish by Bell.
It's funny, when we asked Phil Martelli who's the most improved player on his team, he said Bell, but then he said, you know, Hill as well. Jadrian Tracey's improved. Brandon Jennings. He said 5 different guys are his most improved this year.
Yeah, he's like, oh, who would have thought Lazar Djokovic would have done this either? Schulte, the little mini sky hook, doesn't go from short range.
I guess at the banquet, there's about 5 or 6 guys that are going to walk home with some hardware saying most improved.
Bell double team, loses it. Schulte with the loose ball. Fordham with numbers if they see it. The extra pass, and a good one as Reeves lays it up and in.
As dominant as VCU has seemed at times in transition, they're only up by 10 points. This is the pace that Mike Magpaio desperately wanted. You
read my mind. It seems like VCU should be up 18-20. They're not. They're up 10. Make it 12 with a chance to go to 13. Djokovic fouled as that one goes. But it's Fordham's MO. Mike Magpaio isn't happy. What do you think he's telling his team?
Oh, I can promise you I know what he's saying. He's saying, guys, we were down by 15 to St. Joe's, and we won. And then we were down 11 to Rhode Island, and we won. That's how we're built. We're a resilient team. They are hanging in pretty darn well, considering they're getting pounded on the glass, and they're shooting 23% from the field. They are very fortunate to be where they're at.
And they were down 16 in the first half, the first time they played VCU, before cutting it all the way to 2. So that certainly could be the message of hang around. We're going to start making some baskets. 31-18, VCU with the 13-point lead. That's an awkward-looking shot from a good position by Bodija, but there's Schulte. hanging around, does everything.
You know, huge mistake. Schulte made the three. Why are they ignoring him now? Get him the ball again, especially when a big guy makes the three. He wants to go inside.
Day pull-up jumper doesn't go. Schulte, the putback, won't fall either. Not going to get much better look than that from short range.
I like his approach, though. If you're not going to give me the ball, I'll just go get it on the glass.
Spin move by Nick Lewis, who lays it up and in. Largest lead of the afternoon for VCU. It is up to 15, 33-18, final 90 seconds here in the opening half. Nearly lost, it is. And look at Day Reeves. That's twice he's given it away. VCU had numbers, and he steals it right back.
You know, we were talking to Mike Magpio. He goes back to where we were saying you've got two teams named Rams. In their video this morning, as you see the great hustle by Day Reeves, they put on the video, they got an old National Geographic video of two Rams butting heads and hitting each other. And so they put the Fordham logo on one of the Rams and the VCU logo on the other. Then they put in some referees trying to get the guys excited for the Ram versus Ram matchup.
Bodija making the first of two. The foul was on Jadrian Tracey of VCU, but he said it's kind of part of the team growing and coming together that you can have moments of levity, realizing on this floor, this is where we come together.
And not just that, building chemistry is important when you have 11 new players for Fordham. Actually, 6 of them are international players.
They returned 1% of their scoring from last year's team. Final minute of play, VCU with the 13-point lead. Djokovic has it, shot clock at 7, gets to Lewis, looking to go against Reeves, double team. Djokovic, three-pointer, goes, and he's fouled.
VCU has too many weapons. They are tearing this defense apart. The pace has been slow because it's a low possession game, but everybody gets a touch. It's a happy team.
They move it so well, so quickly. And that is foul number 3 on Marcus Green for Fordham. Cardinals in there, right? If you're going to foul someone on a three-pointer, you can't let them make it.
Right. And it reminds me of when we talked to Phil Martelli earlier in the week. He said he has 2 goals, low turnovers, and I don't want the ball to stick. Meaning, if somebody catches it, they're holding it, they're looking around. No, get rid of it. You either have a shot or a drive, pass it.
The lead is 17, 37-20. Phil Martelli Jr. felt like if he could get to 80, he liked his chances. Mike Magpio said we'd love it in the 60s. Louis Lesmond, front iron with the 3, gets the rebound. But a 3-second differential on the shot clock and game clock. Shot clock at 15, game clock at 18 and change. Looks like they're going to hold it as long as they can. Reeves goes up against the trees, doesn't get it to go, and goes down hard as he's fouled.
And that's the offensive dilemma that Fordham is facing. They're concerned because Day had a hard fall. Everybody in this building knew that Day Reeves was probably going to go left because that's the direction they were forcing him, and they were going to make him shoot over the top. I wonder when the last time Day Reeves had a wide open shot. It hasn't been
this
today.
game, right? Foul was on Lazar Djokovic, his second. Reeves with 8, gonna shoot 2. And if he makes both, Tim, it will be 28 consecutive games scoring in double figures for the grad student out of Syracuse, New York. Leads the league in scoring. Played at Northern Colorado for a year, Iona last year in this new age of college basketball. They move quickly, they change things up, And I think Mike Magpie would love to have Day-Day for a couple more years if he could.
It's just hard to build instant chemistry. I looked back at my game notes from a VCU game last year and also a Fordham game.
Didn't work, did it?
And there were 11 new players for Fordham, 9 new players for VCU. I just tore them up and threw them away.
Down to 4. Tracy long range doesn't go. Schulte thought about launching it, but Jennings picked his pocket from the backside. So after Reeves gets into double figures, he's got 10. Homecoming weekend continues on the campus of VCU, and those that have made the trip back to the Siegel Center, like Tim, what they saw in the first half, their squad a 15-point advantage, 37-22. And the numbers back it up beyond the score. If you're Fordham, you can't shoot 20% from the field and expect to win.
No, and it's not just that. They struggle to find a secondary score. Day-Day Reeves is going to get his. And right now, I look at VCU, and they're very content. They're doing a great job defensively, making Reeves a passer instead of a scorer.
Reeves had 10 in the first half, extending his league-leading consecutive games in double figures. He's a perfect 28 of 28, but the Rams are going to need more. And you look big picture, since 2018-19, Fordham is 1-68 since trailing by 15 or more points. You mentioned it earlier. February 1st this season, down 10 against St. Joe's and won. If they're going to come back, who else has to help other than Reeves?
Well, we saw a little offensive explosion from Rikas Schulte. Knocking down a 3, he went to the boards and missed an offensive rebound. I think he is a good candidate to have a strong second half.
Jacobs fouled as 2 VCU Rams converged on him on that entry pass.
The number at halftime that Phil Martelli said that he wanted to really focus on, turnovers and rebounding, both numbers in VCU's favor.
Long range 3 by Accor doesn't go. The foul on VCU was Jadrian Tracey, his second. Jennings quickly down the other end of the floor, lays it up and in. It happens that fast.
And Christian Henry, the last 4 games, has averaged 14 points per game. He needs to be more aggressive looking for his shot as well.
Extra step, Reeves gets away with it. Henry converts right on cue.
I'm always a big believer that when somebody gets a bucket, you try to tailor your offense and get them a shot the next trip down. Let's see if they can get Henry to the rim.
Great defense by Schulte, rejects it quickly in the front court. Reeves contested, doesn't go. VCU with the rebound.
When these teams played in the Bronx, VCU had 15 turnovers. Much better job, Steve, of protecting the ball here.
Djokovic, long-range jumper, back iron too strong. Reeves with the rebound. Quickly up to Henry, into the front court goes Fordham. There's going to be a foul, a lot of contact between Schulte and Djokovic. And it's going to go against Lazar Djokovic. His third. Could have seen that either way, but Lazar not thrilled with that call. Neither is VCU. Phil Martelli's furious.
Look at the size difference defensively between Barry Evans and Day-Day Reeves.
About an 8-inch difference, and don't tell that to Day-Day Reeves. What an impressive fadeaway jumper. You think that's why he's leading the league in scoring?
I do.
Tracey cut off, forces it to Jennings. One of the few turnovers we've seen from VCU. 7th turnover of the afternoon for VCU. Look at Reeves against Lewis.
He's just fantastic, and Mike Magpie really appreciates the fact that when he took over, Day-Day was the first player that committed.
It's kicked out of bounds by Tracey. Fordham will maintain it. And I want to correct myself. It wasn't Day-Day against Lewis. It was Day-Day against Barry Evans. That's where you get the 8-inch differential.
Right. 3 years of college basketball for Day-Day. Northern Colorado to Iona to Fordham. And in some ways, you know, he shoots like a pro. He also moves around. If you play in the NBA, it's really challenging to constantly change new teams each year. He's really good at that. This is his third team.
Henry, left wing, gets another to go. Maybe Christian Henry coming out of that halftime break, feeling a little bit of an impetus to get things going. It's single digits. It's 39-30. Fordham doing what they do, hanging around in this game, Tim. Three-pointer off the mark by Lewis. Reeves goes up big to get that rebound. Spin move. Henry gets it to go and is fouled.
Yeah, Bill Martelli's going to want to talk about this. And it's not problems on the offensive end for VCU. Their defense needs to get a lot better. Nice reaction by Mike Magpayo's team.
A 10-0 run for Fordham to get things going here in the second half. They're hanging around, they're battling back. Tim, they're finally making a few buckets, and that defense is also stepping up as well.
Here's why I like Fordham. They do two things really well in a 2-3 zone. Number one, they contest shots better than most. Watch the closeout, hands up. Nice job by Roar Accor. And then the other thing they do, most teams struggle to rebound out of zone. Fordham does an exceptional job of being able to box out and get to the basket.
Henry doesn't make the free throw. Fordham, though, goes up big on the offensive glass. Akira Jacobs gets it, foul, pushed out of bounds. And another quickie on VCU as a team. Before the break, it was Jadrian Tracey picking up his third, and Fordham as good as any in the country defensively.
Last week against Davidson, they only gave up 59 points, and right now they're exactly where they want to be.
A 13-0 run for Fordham. They're within 4 as Jacobs converts on that long-range jumper.
And we may see this zone every possession the rest of the game because it's clicking.
Jadrian Tracey with an answer. That was a big bucket, and they needed one for VCU.
Yeah, and I would expect a long possession by Fordham. VCU runs hot on the defensive end. They would prefer to be playing in transition rather than covering in half court.
Henry gets by Lewis, can't finish. Oh, Schulte, great hand, strips it from the VCU player in Jennings, and he had somebody wide open and completely missed him. He got fouled on the layup, but he had a teammate with no one within 30 feet of him.
Day Reeves was by himself. How can you miss that guy? He's the smallest, most diminutive player on the court, but he's the high producer, 21 points per game in his last 4. And I could see Mike Magpayo screaming and waving his arms, advance the ball, but they're where they want to be at the free throw line.
Foul on Jennings, his second. Schulte misses the first.
Steve, did you know that Fordham has actually, if we go the other way, VCU has made more free throws than Fordham has even taken the entire year. It's a huge disparity.
And sometimes the game's decided by what happens on the line. 1 of 2 from Schulte, 42-36. VCU 6-point lead, 4 minutes in here in the second half. That's a great backdoor cut, unable to finish, but fouled on the way up was Michael Bell. Personal foul.
It's impressive when you look at the improvement of Michael Bell. This is his 3rd year in the VCU program. You don't get to say that very often these days.
The personal foul was on Schulte, his 3rd, sending Bell to the line. The junior from London, England, averaging about 7.5 a game, nearly 5 rebounds a contest. Just 51% though from the stripe this year.
Phil Martelli Jr. said that there are 5 different players that are his most improved. to me, Michael Bell is the one that I think has improved the most.
1 of 2. Jacobs fouled as he pulled down the rebound. Phil Martelli Jr. and the fans at the Siegel Center not thrilled with all these whistles going against their team.
I absolutely love the idea of full court pressure. A press is a tool to jumpstart a lethargic group. And in the second half, VCU has not brought the heat.
The foul was on Evans, his first, team 6, and an easy bucket on the other end for Fordham. Bell, 14-footer, in and out, won't go. Akor with the rebound. Jacobs, how about this? Fordham within 2. Akira Jacobs making it from long range.
Really surprised at the fact that offensively they're not trying to get Hill the ball. He's been so quiet and not productive offensively.
Tracey driving, double team, gets it down low, and that is a hard-earned bucket by Barry Evans, and he's fouled as well. After shooting 20% in the first half, Fordham 7 of 10 here in the second half, 70% from the floor. Making this one a good one, back within 4. Steve Burkowski, Tim McCormick with you. New faces for VCU, and when you got to build off the court, away from the floor, what's Phil Martelli Jr. been doing?
Well, it was really a unique approach. He brought all the players, the coaches, the managers, the trainers together, and he played a game called 21 Questions. Questions like, who's better, LeBron or MJ? What's your favorite sports movie? Would you go to outer space if you had the chance? What's the best concert you've ever seen? And everybody had to answer the questions. They just went around the room. He said it was a wonderful tool to be able to get to know the guys and also get to know your teammates. And there's Phil Martelli Sr. I guess that Phil Martelli Sr. never played 21 Questions when he was coaching. By the way, Steve, would you go to outer space?
Absolutely not. Yourself?
I would not go to outer space either.
3-point play finished up on the back end of that timeout. VCU with the 5-point lead, 46-41. Minutes in here in the final stanza. Boy, Reeves is fun to watch. Even though it didn't go, that he's not afraid to go down the lane, and another foul away from the ball, and another one going against VCU.
This Fordham team are a bunch of studs on the offensive glass. They miss a lot of shots. They don't make their free throws, but they do one thing really well. They compete and grab offensive rebounds.
Foul was on Michael Bell, his third. Tabas Bodija, the redshirt freshman from Australia, to the line to shoot 2. Nearly 75% from the stripe so far this season for Abbas.
Playing at the Siegel Center, Steve, is a test of maturity. VCU plays better in this building. Their crowd is hostile. And right now, Phil Martelli and his group are in trouble because they've got to play against the zone, and they're digging in right now. Fordham believes they can win.
Hill with it up top, shot clock at 15. Long-range jumper by Hill. You were waiting for Terrence Hill Jr. to get involved. That's one way to do it. Unlimited range for Hill, and he always has the green light. Top against Jennings, shot clock at 9. Down low in the blocks to Jacobs, shot clock at 4. Double team. Henry, 3-pointer, well off the mark. Does not hit the rim, so even if Fordham came down with that offensive rebound, shot clock violation. Terrence
Hill is a scorer and a playmaker, coming off a uncharacteristic and surprising 1 for 11 and 0 for 7 against St. Louis. I look at Terrence Hill Jr. and LJ Kaysen from the University of Michigan as the best 2 point guard subs in all of college basketball.
VCU up 6 with the ball. No issues getting it across the half-court stripes and token pressure from Fordham.
Once you get Hill going, he's going to go again. He's very aggressive.
Even longer this time. That one doesn't go. And last touch, Fordham. VCU will keep it.
A lot of times when someone takes an ill-conceived shot, the coach will throw their hands up in the air. They'll have a disgusting look. No, Bill Martelli wanted him to take that shot.
You hit on a key word. He's a scorer, not just a shooter. He can do it all, averaging just over 14 a game. Ooh, Tracey had it stripped on the way up. Really good hands there by Fordham to force the turnover. Numbers, Jacobs, 3, got it. Akira Jacobs, Christian Henry stepping up big here for Fordham in the second half.
Dayton knocked off St. Louis earlier this week. This win right here, if they can hold on, would send shockwaves throughout the A-10 in favor of Fordham.
Ward got it to Bell, who was fouled as he was quickly double-teamed down low. It's going to be on Abbas Bodija.
You know, Steve, there are so many pluses to having scoring depth, but one of the problems I think that Bill Martelli has at times, when you get a hot scorer, when you play motion, you don't have specific sets to get them the ball. It's a little bit random offensively.
Move there by Ward off the good entry pass. The foul on Bodija was his second. The lead back up to 5 for VCU.
Now here's a danger zone for Fordham because this VCU team, they can detonate and give you a 10-0 run at any point.
Skip pass, nearly stolen, almost ended up in your hands. Good hustle by Michael Bell.
Probably would have dropped it.
I had your back, partner.
Either that or I'd go out there and drop step and shoot a jump hook.
So Fordham maintains possession, 13 on the shot clock. They're down 5. Reeves going to do it by himself till he's cut off. Louis Lesmond up top, shot clock at 2. In and out, 3/4 of the way down for Lesmond. Great cut from Ward to Bell, who's fouled on the way up. And if Roar Core doesn't foul him, Bell would have sent shockwaves through the Siegel Center.
Notice the back cut, keeping your options open. Actually a nice close defensively by Roar. And this is probably the best thing that VCU does. They make more free throws than any team in the A-10. 25% of their overall points are free throws.
Third foul on the core. Quick reminder, the PGA Tour's best look to conquer TPC Sawgrass in the famous 17th. That can make or break the world's finest golfers. The Players Championship beginning live March 12th on Golf Channel.
So the Island Green, what club are you hitting?
When dependent, but usually in the neighborhood of 9-iron or wedge, is Hill the beneficiary of that tip ball that ended up in his hands. Second free throw was missed. It was kind of batted around. VCU had it, they didn't. And then Hill does what he does best. There are high hopes for those that support VCU that another A-10 men's basketball banner can be hung here in the coming weeks. They've had a lot of success. Go back to 2015, winning the tournament championship, defeating Dayton. They beat the same Flyer squad 8 years later in 2023. And then just last year, a battle coming down the stretch with George Mason. It goes back to what we discussed Tim, it doesn't matter who the coach is, VCU, this has history and tradition.
And remember those two words that are plastered on the wall of their practice facility: develop and compete. And that's always been the trademark of this program.
A near steal by Ward. Henry able to gather it in. 55-46, VCU with the 9-point lead under the 12-minute mark here in the second half. Oh, Henry had that swatted by Tyrell Ward. He went up against the big man. They're going to say last touch off Henry.
I had never thought of Tyrell as a volleyball player, but he looked like an outside hitter there.
Well, he obviously heard the Love Volleyball promo we did earlier, right? And it got him excited.
Here's zone. It's much more extended than we saw earlier. Look at the free throw line. If VCU flashes somebody, they'll be wide open.
Extra pass, Ward in the corner, front iron, no good by Nick Lewis. Last touch, VCU. And as you said, it could be a critical juncture. VCU can explode quickly. What does Fordham need to do to make sure the 9-point deficit doesn't get back to double digits?
The opposite approach of VCU. They need a long possession. What a huge success story that Mike Magpaio's team has been this year. Preseason, they were dead last ranking. And then all of a sudden they start conference play December 31st, and they lose 5 of their first 6 games. The fact that they've won 4 straight has been really an eye-opener, because they don't shoot well, they don't get to the free throw line, but they just play tough. They're very good defensively.
Another steal. Ward picks it up. A lot of contact and a blocking foul called on Henry. You almost sensed that was coming. Ward had been getting in the mix, knocking balls out, nearly stripping at the possession before.
Yeah, and Terrell Ward has really come on. Phil's message to him is just bring us energy. 2 years at LSU. As a sophomore, he averaged 9 points per game in the SEC. So this is a guy that is talented, and we should not be surprised.
The foul on Henry, his third. And quickly going back to Magpaio and Fordham, 1-6 out of the gate. He's like, he went to his bosses and said, you know what, guys? Something's there. We're starting to grow. Don't get flustered by the results that aren't showing up on the scoreboard.
And Magpaio has such a fascinating story. He was coaching high school basketball, 9th grader. He was a real estate owner, a CEO of a really good company, and he decided during the housing crash that he needed to get his master's, so he went for his graduate degree at NYU, and that's when his search really took off, didn't it?
Yeah, from Columbia to Campbell to San Francisco, and he gives so much credit to Kyle Smith to give him a chance back in the day in New York City. But he said, oh, by the way, if you're going to coach, forget about that master's in real estate. I think it's worked out all right. Oh, Schulte, a really good pass and a good finish there by Rikas.
You know, for a lot of teams, having a 9-point deficit is no big deal because you can nail threes. That's a problem, though, for Fordham because they are really poor. They're dead last in the A-10 in three-point percentage.
Djokovic tried to get it down low to Bell, who it was too low, and he kicked it out of bounds. Turnover VCU. But we did see Henry have a spurt early in the second half where he made a couple of threes, but to your point, the numbers don't indicate that's something they can rely on.
And I'm also concerned because Day Reeves expends more energy than anybody in the conference. He's constantly sprinting and running off screen. He's got to be tired.
And he's been a little quiet in the second half, and then he comes right by us and can say, no, I'm not.
Yeah, he didn't look too tired to me.
Reeves now with 16. Fordham back within 7. 10-minute mark here in the second half.
Yes, the ball needs to go to Ward inside. The middle is so wide open, Steve. That's an easy decision. And I would do it again next trip.
Lead back to 9. Lesmond has it. Left wing cut off baseline. Schulte from 3. Fordham's had a lot of those that have gone halfway down and popped right back out. Great cut by Hill, right back to Bell. the up and under, and it goes. The lead back to double digits.
So impressed with VCU's pace. And don't be surprised, because when Phil Martelli was at Bryant, they were top 10 in the nation in fastest pace. He loves the up-tempo game.
Henry has it left wing, shot clock at 8. Uses the screen from Schulta, down low, extra pass, shot clock winding down, the three-pointer in and out by Bodija. And you speak about the pace at VCU, they averaged 83.5 a game. A VCU program hasn't averaged 80 or more in 50 years.
Surprising to me, because they always have that aggressive defense that generates transition points.
A lot of contact down low as Bell hit the floor, but he was fouled in the process. That is on Abbas Bodija, his fourth.
You know, one of the most impressive things that Phil Martelli Jr. teaches, and it goes back to why they're so darn fast, he's really into reaction time. That those first 2 steps, when your team gets a steal, you can outrun your opponent if you really get off to that fast start.
He shared that with us earlier in the year, and he said even if it's a 1/10 of a second, it could make the difference in a bucket or not.
And then you take the fact that he recruits speedy athletes, you combine reaction time with pure speed. It's kind of like, I'm sure you've been watching the NFL Combine. The guys that have the lowest scores are not necessarily the fastest. They're the ones that are efficient and get off to that really fast start.
And it goes beyond that for what Phil Martelli Jr. says. The tape shows you if you can play, but he looks for the intangibles, the guys that are competitive, hitting the deck. You know, that breeds winning basketball as the lead back up to a dozen.
This seems like an important trip. There's going to be a timeout soon to make that final run. This is a trip where Fordham needs a bucket.
Will they get it? They do from McCord.
Single digits just feels a lot better.
13 of the 17 conference games Fordham has played decided by single digits, but back up to 11, courtesy of Barry Evans.
Every time VCU attacks the free throw line, they're getting layups. First it was Ward twice, and now Evans.
Deflected out of bounds by Evans, so Fordham will hang on to possession. Back at the Siegel Center, VCU 64, Fordham 53, and before the break, the ball deflected out of bounds was awarded to Fordham. Phil Martelli Jr. challenged during the break, and it appears he lost that challenge, Tim.
He lost his timeout also.
So now 3 and 4 on the year as VCU in challenges. You also popped over to the Fordham bench to get a sense of what Mike Magpayo is trying to convey to his guys. What did you feel from that?
Well, down 11, I know a lot of coaches will say we've got to run our sets, we've got to get a shot. The anatomy of a comeback for Mike Magpayo is on the defensive end. He talked about defensive fundamentals, containing the ball better, contesting shots without fouls. It was all about defense. It's a really unique approach, and I like what he was doing.
And it looked like for a moment he was just going to say, here, Tim, take the board, draw something up for me.
Well, if he did that, I would have tried to get Schultz the ball, because I love to see a big guy in the low post go to work.
6th year as a college head coach for Magpayo, the first 5 at UC Riverside, re-energizing the Fordham fan base. See if they can make a charge here in the last 7:45.
By the way, I did some checking at Riverside. It's 84 degrees today.
Oh my. Shot clock winding down, and Henry, another one in and out. Look at Schultz try to keep it alive. Hill, though, comes down with it.
Djokovic has been very, very quiet, and I like the matchup against Fordham. They're so defensive-oriented on the perimeter that I feel like that Djokovic could flash to the foul line area and be effective.
Yeah, Djokovic just with 7 points so far this afternoon.
And that's a guy that is among the very best big guys in the conference.
Left-hander in and out by Jennings, and Djokovic fouled on the way up as you look to put that one back home.
They're really hard to keep Djokovic in single digits for a whole game because of the variety of offense that he brings. He's very good in transition. He's added a three-pointer, and he's an underrated post scorer.
Fourth personal foul on Roracore from Fordham. Here's one, and you referenced it earlier. No one in the Atlantic 10 has made more free throws this season than Lazar Djokovic. With that first one, he's made 134.
And he's so unique at 6'10", high skill level. He came in with potential, and this year he's turned that potential into all-league production.
Something Phil Martelli told us a month ago. This young man, he's got all the tools, makes both. The lead is 13, and Reeves quickly out of the double team. The core from 3 doesn't go. Really good rebound by Jacob. Second chance opportunity for Fordham.
Grabbing about 40% of their missed shots, and that's a really good goal. They miss a lot of shots, but they also have a chance to get 15 offensive rebounds, which I always think is a good goal.
Henry from long range doesn't go. Rebounded by Jennings. VCU with the ball, up 13. And that might be foul number 5 on Roracore.
You know, this is a problem. There's still plenty of time left, but when you struggle to score and struggle to shoot, how do you make a comeback? And that's probably why Magpayo was saying we've got to get it done on the defensive end, because they can't really rely on their offense.
And that is the 5th on a core, so he's out with 5 points, is the freshman from Melbourne, Australia, who Mike Magpayo described as fearless. He said when this young man came on campus, he changed the entire dynamic of the team.
And it really did take quite a while. They started A-10 play 1 and 6. And I think that there's a lot of people that have not seen them in person since then are surprised. This is a defense-first, rebounding, tough physical program, and I like their future. You know, give Mike Magpayo 3 or 4 years, get his own players. They're going to be really dangerous.
Evans makes the first, lead up to 14. And they are well aware, Fordham, that currently 8th in the A-10 standings, that would get them a bye. A single bye, but a bye nonetheless in the conference tournament.
The coaches all kind of act like they're not really paying attention to the brackets or the prospective brackets. I don't believe them. Do you?
I do not. Getting sold a bill of goods. All right, see if Fordham has one last charge here in the final 6.5 minutes. Who does it have to start through if they get it?
Well, it's Day-Day. He's got the ball, but look there's 3 guys all within arm's length, and he's not very tall.
Odija not to go with the left hand off the glass. VCU looking to run. Jennings pull up, jumper, got it. Feels like that could be the moment where VCU doesn't look back. 9-0 run, VCU, their lead back up to 18, and there were moments, but sometimes you just make those things count, especially coming down the stretch.
Yeah, I like so much of what Phil Martelli does, and he was sharing with us that, like every coach after a game, they have their staff break down the video as teaching tools, and everybody does that. But one thing that he always does is he has a segment called Winning Plays. At the end of every video session, they show charges and diving on the floor, hustle plays, bench enthusiasm. And he said that they always make sure they end on a really positive note.
Yeah, it might not be the stuff that shows up on the paper, but the things that make a difference.
Yeah, for instance, their bench is really up and cheering a lot, very enthusiastic. That's the kind of thing that's going to be on that videotape tomorrow.
Schulte fouled down low in the paint.
Everybody wants to play. It doesn't always happen. So you've got to try to impact the game in other ways. VCU's enthusiasm is world class.
Foul on Michael Bell, his 4th. He'll head to the bench. Jadrian Tracey back in for Virginia Commonwealth University. Schulta converts on the first, 61.5% from the free throw line this year for the 6'9" junior out of Germany. 6 international players on this Fordham team. A lot of things to get together.
Before the game, I felt like Djokovic and Schulta were going to be a key matchup, and in many ways they've canceled each other out, and neither has made a huge impact in this game.
Tracey goes up hard, doesn't go. The putback doesn't fall. Third time the charm for Jadrian Tracey. You think that might show up on the winning plays moment?
Absolutely. Offensive rebounds qualify for winning plays.
Lead back up to 18, 73-55. Jacobs, nice move, can't finish.
Surprisingly, VCU has done a better job on the glass than Fordham. That's Fordham's #1 strength.
Tracey, front iron with the 3. Reeves with the rebound. He is fun to watch. Quickly in the front court. Gets it back from Henry. He lays it up, and he lays it in. Day Reeves, that is. Scores again. He's got 18 on the day.
But did you notice, because of the deficit, you see how fast Fordham has to play? And that's not their strength. They want to run 25 seconds and then go to work late in the shot clock. They can't do that. And there's that foul line. They're scoring every time they get the ball in there.
VCU using the clock. Shot clock at 4. Jennings down low to Tracey. Great cut to Evans, who finishes with authority. How about that for maximizing 29 seconds of the shot clock?
Evans seems to like that play. That's a huge adrenaline shot through his
VC
face.
Davidson tomorrow, high noon, hosting LaSalle. Then a triple header next Saturday. That will lead you into the A-10 tournament. We'll have all that covered starting on March 11th.
You know, with Davidson, they played against Fordham last week, and Mike Magpio, what he does is they have a rebounding coach, and specifically comes up with strategies. Ryan Highland has the ability to say, okay, against Davidson, we're going to send 4 guys to the offensive glass. It's really in contrast, because against VCU and their athleticism, they've been only sending 1 or 2 to the offensive glass to make sure they get back on defense.
Henry has it left wing. Shot clock at 8. Looks to drive, hits the corner, but doesn't get it to Lesmond because it's stolen by Tracey. Alley-oop, and what a finish there by Barry Evans. He had one before the break. He has one shortly after.
Wow.
15-4 run, largest lead now for VCU. It's up to 20.
That had to be a pinpoint pass.
It was, and Evans finished in fine form. Lesmond, corner, Jacobs, in and out, doesn't go. Jennings comes down with it. Well, they're going to keep shooting, aren't they? Tracey from the right wing, it's up to 23.
When people look at this score, they're going to say, oh, blowout. No, it was not that way most of this contest. A late surge by VCU.
Reeves fouled on the way up by Jennings. And you called it, Tim, when it was down in the single digits. You said, watch out, VCU can extend it quickly. Lo and behold, it's up nearly 2 dozen.
The aspect of VCU's game that has impressed me the most, when these teams played in the Bronx earlier this year, it was a 4-point victory for VCU. But the problem that they had was 15 turnovers, only 7 so far. That's about as good as you're going to get against a good pressure defense.
Foul was on Jennings, his 3rd, and with the latest Evans slam and Tracey 3, look how many points VCU has.
They're right back where you would expect it.
The number Phil Martelli Jr. said if we get to 80, he liked their chances.
An extreme battle of tempo.
Reeves converts on both. And he's up to 20 on the day.
And here's the problem. If you're pressing them, there's a good possibility you're going to get dunked on. when you spread the defense. Once again, look at the A10 logo. That's the spot.
Or if you're not dunked on, you're going to have a wide open three, in and out for Lewis. Oh, great look from Reeves to Jacobs, who lays it up and in.
Well, Mike Magpio said we would love to have the game in the 60s is what they have. The problem is that VCU got to 80.
Evans, Djokovic, return to sender. Lazar slams it home. But you called it. You're going to put that pressure. You're going to get exposed in the back end.
And it wouldn't surprise me to see another dunk if they're going to spread it out that much.
Or an easy layup there for Reeves on the other end. Final 2 minutes, 82-63 VCU with the big lead, but give credit to Fordham. They're not hanging their head, like they're going to keep playing ball for 40 minutes.
But look, there's nobody under the basket. That's not going to go very well.
82-63, VCU with the big lead, and with the outcome pretty much a certainty. VCU is going to pick up another win, but their 2 remaining regular season games, no easy task right there.
I know what I'm doing the next week. I'm going to be watching these games because positioning is so important. To get that double bye, to get 1 bye is even very important.
Got George Mason. They go to Dayton. On the flip side of things, Fordham's 4-game winning streak likely to come to a close here. What do you take away, though, of watching this Fordham team on the last day of February, maybe as opposed to 7 or 8 weeks ago?
Just highly surprised at how they've improved within the season. Remember, they've won 4 straight. Their defense, their rebounding, exceptional. That's been maybe the biggest surprise. They lead the A10 in defensive rebounding, and VCU has annihilated them on the glass so far today.
And it's going to be win number 22 for VCU on the season. It's their 26th straight winning season. Long-range 3 by Hill doesn't go. How about this company they keep? Along with VCU, Duke, Gonzaga, Kansas, and Michigan State, the only other teams in Division I college basketball that have had winning seasons for 20 consecutive or more.
Well,
that's heady company.
Well, you shared a number that really surprised me. At VCU's winning percentage is one of the truly elite in all of college basketball.
The 11th best winning percentage in Division I NCAA college basketball history, 65.4 for the VCU Rams. They came from the NAIA in 1970. That's a staple. That is a program. It's what Phil Martelli signed up for, and it's what this team has delivered.
12 days until the A10 tournament. You made me pick my favorite. I said I think VCU is going to win it. I can't let you get away without your pick.
Oh, I'm bullish on that St. Joe's run. I mean, it's easy to say St. Louis, this VCU team. St. Joe's is trending. Don't tell Phil Martelli and the Rams we're thinking that's a possibility, because this team right here, Tim, as they're winding down to another victory at the Siegel Center, as good as any in the league.
Bold call, Steve. I like it.
Got to change it up from time to time as Nick Lewis dribbles out the final seconds. Heady performance by Fordham, but in the end, VCU too much. Their 11th straight victory over the Fordham Rams. And they now move to 22-7, 13-3 in the Atlantic 10.